It's a tunnel, but it's not a tunnel that brings you directly from A to B, but it allows you to explore the courtyard in many different ways. My name's Jing, and together with Florian Eidenberg, we are the founders of Soil, an architecture firm based in Brooklyn, New York. And we have been practicing for 15 years. We work quite a bit with the cultural institutions all around the world.
So when we came to Bruges about a year and a half ago and learned about the theme, Spaces of Possibility, we were very intrigued by this idea of the city as a historic artifact, but then the ability for installations and for interventions to sort of open up or enable sort of new experiences of the city itself. And so we looked at many locations, and when we came here with the sort of surprising entrance behind that hidden garage door, suddenly we saw sort of first of all a wonderful space, but also discovered a link and a connection and a sort of an introduction of a new pedestrian path, a new public path through the historic city. So that was something we really were excited about, and we tried to respond to with this installation.
And when I first came to the city, one other site really spoke to me a lot, which is Big Greenwich, and where women that stayed out of the convent as well as the marriage and wedlock was living together and created really a beautiful commune and sustained themselves through the making of lace. So this site had a lot of overlap with that Big Greenwich that really spoke to me, and our installation really wanted to take that beautiful part of the history of the women in Bruges, both the material cultures of their life as well as the kind of ritual of the everyday, into the present and into the future. So this site acted as a beautiful setting for that exploration.
In our office we make buildings, but we also work on temporary installations such as this. And we're always very interested in materiality, in craft, also in the performance of certain materials and certainly fabrics, and the idea of transparency, the way in which a fabric divider in some way can make one aware of one side and the other side, so to say. And what we're trying to do in this installation is really create sort of a heightened awareness through a spatial intervention of where one is and where one is in relation to the other. And so transparency in the materiality was something that we were looking for. At the same time, we were really interested in craft, in the idea here of lace making. And so we tried to find a new sort of interpretation of this contemporary craft, so to say, looking really forward. So that, yeah, it really emerged sort of as we were working, and that's how we also ended up working with Mariana Popescu.
So part of the interesting part of the project is also the types of materials that we use. So a lot of the membrane that you see here is actually a knitted textile. The knitted textile is made out of rPET yarn, so recycled PET yarn that comes out of mostly ocean plastic, but that's looking into reintroducing a material and seeing how that could be also used outside. Knitting specifically is a very interesting process, so that's the interesting part about all of the different panels. So it is one that's done usually with a CNC knitting machine. You can, through the process, you can actually create the fabric on a loop by loop basis. So you create very tiny pieces of material. They're about 2 by 5 millimeters in total, so every single panel that you see here is done on a 2 by 5 millimeter grid, let's say. And in that process, each operation that's done on the machine decides the size and the shape of the loop that you add. That's also why you can see the different types of textures, because those are different types of operations that we perform in the machine. So what we've done is look a lot at how we can translate our designs into instructions for the machine so that we can place material when we want, how we want it, and very specifically controlled.